Hello and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. Boys, of course, this week we're doing it over Zoom. We couldn't get the time to all go into the studio together, but of course, it does come on the back of a very impressive win against the Swans. How are we feeling?
Super.
Very, very good, mate. Very, very good.
That's good, mate. Of course, I think Pato's just thrown his mic, but of course, we are without Speechley again this week, who is... he's unfortunately a bit under the weather, so we hope to... And Pato's not happy about that because apparently it's Jack's fault. But we wish Jack well. We love him, so we wish him very well. Hopefully he gets better soon. But of course, the final score, it's the fourth week in a row we've scored more than 100, just scraping in with 15-12-102 to the Swans 13-9-87, which of course is a 15-point win. We sit third on the ladder, 8-2. How bloody good is that, Ethan?
Oh, it's just good to, be in the, I guess the race for the premiership. I'm not trying to be cocky here, but I think we've proved it to the AFL, especially after Friday night. We're not just in a lucky form. We're actually in form that can be consistent. So, yeah, exciting times.
And of course, I think we have been also the release rounds, 16, 17, or whatever it was. And we are playing against St Kilda, I think, on a Friday night as well. Or?
Yep, Friday night. Blockbuster.
Yeah, so we're reward here, Blockbuster. Well, we've got to give them some credit. They're going okay, I guess. But it's good to be rewarded with another Friday night. I think Friday night, as the game was obviously great, but then also there was a few people there, so just to see everyone there, and the atmosphere was electric. Pato?
Yeah, I think I'm still not convinced that we're up on the same level of a Melbourne and even probably just below, maybe even a Brisbane, but I think we're better than Fremantle, 100%. So I think we're probably maybe the third or fourth seed.
Do you think, and Freo is probably another example of, I think they're a decent enough team, but although they play very well at home, do you think playing at Marvel Stadium has helped us at all? And how do you think we're going to go? Obviously, this week we're at the G, so do you see that making much of a difference, mate? Or
yeah, it's kind of tough because we've kind of played we haven't played as good enough teams at Marvel, so we played against North Melbourne and Adelaide, but I think the best thing that we played at Marvel was probably even Sydney. I think they're probably better than Western Bulldogs. So, and then also the G, we played against Port when they were probably starting to make their comeback into the top 8. So that was probably the first game that they actually played pretty well. But other than that, Richmond, looking back at that game now, that was a pretty good win. So I think, me personally, I think beating Sydney was definitely our biggest win. Maybe GWS for other reasons, but I think that's a super win.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're undefeated in Melbourne. I mean, I think Ethan and I have been to all games. Have you been to every game in Melbourne, Pato?
I just missed the Western Bulldogs game, and I think that was the other one.
Yeah, so we haven't seen... It's crazy to think we're 10 rounds in and we haven't seen... And we've been all the games that we haven't seen our team lose this year. How's that feel, Eth?
Oh, it's just good to be on the other side. I think we've been a few years where we haven't seen a fucking win. So walking out of the stadium every week, happy, even though I almost had a heart attack the other night. But it's good.
Were you ever worried at one point that we wouldn't get the job done?
Yes. I was a bit worried. I backed him in. It wasn't like I wasn't backing him in at all, but I just thought Sydney were, they were up and about, especially after that Buddy goal. There's nothing worse when you're sitting there and because I was kind of close to the Sydney end, on the pocket, a bit not too close to the cheer score, but close enough to be, fuck, this is getting a bit close now. But when Buddy ran in and you could hear him go, oh, and then the crowd fucking went off and you're just sitting there like, fuck. But always got the job done. Job done.
Pato, were you worried, mate?
Yeah, absolutely shitting myself, mate, at 3/4 time. I think when Franklin kicked that goal, I was like, fuck. Just bloody, because literally that was the probably chance to bloody really get going. But it was good that I think it was probably similar to the Western Bulldogs game when they really probably had their chances, but still we got the fucking win. That's the main thing that I'm walking out of it, is that we got the win. So yeah, it's a game that I'm stoked that we got the job done, but still probably a little bit of a problem is just not being able to blow those leads out. But I'm not gonna even look at the negatives. Just try and focus on the positives.
Absolutely, mate. And I think it's, what is it, Watershed, where you got to release your TV after a certain time of night because it can't be seen by children. Well, that's going to be the same here because I think you dropped about 3 or 4 F-bombs just then. Good stuff. We'll go through our predictions. Of course, Jack didn't make a prediction and he's not here to review the prediction, so job done. But I had the Blues by 6 goals. Mott, best on ground. I think he played pretty well, but probably wasn't best on ground. But what about you, Heath?
Yeah, so I had Blues by 25, which was the closest, I think. Closest. And Hewitt BOG, which I think he was very, very close to being on BOG. He was fantastic. He was fantastic on Friday night.
Absolutely. Who takes the vote, Heath? 3, 2, 1.
I think Walshy does, just in terms of just the numbers he puts up. I think Charlie 2, and then maybe a Hewitt or Weeders with 1.
They don't get a vote, Sydney?
Nah, fuck him, mate.
Fuck him, all right.
So I took the Blue Baggers by 44 points. Of course, I got a little bit too optimistic, boys. But no, I think that if we didn't really have that little bit of a lapse halfway through the third quarter, I think it was, it probably was looking maybe down that sort of path. But also George Hewitt, best on ground. I thought he was fantastic. I really did. I thought he was terrific. But my best on ground, 3, 2, 1. So I probably had Walshy just because he's starting to get back into that Walshy form. But arguably Charlie Curnow, it's hard not to give Charlie Curnow the 3 votes with him kicking 6 goals and being really good up the ground. I saw him a little bit more up the ground, which is good. But yeah, I think the other one's probably like a Jacob Wiedering, I personally think, which is good.
Just on Charlie as well, obviously we don't just like to see any player go down, but Lynch, of course, he's injured at the moment, so we'll definitely strengthen his chances of winning the Collingwood. But yeah, see what happens there. All right, we'll get stuck into review some of the matchups and just how we went on, I guess, more of an individual level. Ethan, do you want to take us through that, mate?
Yep, so we'll start off with the first one. I think it's a clear win for mine. I think, Tommy McCartan, he got found out on Friday night. I think Kerno really, gave the bloke a bath, and I thought the defenders really struggled with I think they were very tall. They were very tall the other night. I know we were very short, but they looked a bit all over the place. But yeah, Kerno killed him. What do you reckon, boys? Was it a clear win there?
6 goals, 1, was it? Something like that?
Yeah. 5 goals and a half.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. Like he got 5.5, and then ended up with 6. So obviously did something right towards the end, but damage is already done, I think.
How about that first goal from 50? Was it?
Yeah, fucking hell.
Oh mate, like seriously, guys crazy. But we'll move on to. I reckon we'll just change the matchup a little bit here. But it's Laddams and Hickey in a sense versus TDK. I feel like TDK absolutely dominated. What are your thoughts, boys?
Absolutely spot on. Yeah.
You go.
Like hit outs wise, which is probably TDK's. No, I mean, not like that's his weakness, but that's probably not what he's best at, is getting the actual hit out against his opponents. But he led the hit outs, which is absolutely terrific, which I'm sure Sam will touch on a little bit later. But yeah, that's awesome to see because also I feel like he dominated around the ground as well. And his marking has improved dramatically. Like, I reckon he had about 3 or 4 opportunities to take mark of the year in one game. It's just terrific to see. Yeah, but I thought he was terrific. How about you, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we won the hit outs, which is not something that happens too often. But so we won at 31-24. But the interesting thing is it's flipped in the sense that we won the hit outs, but we didn't actually win the clearances. So 32-34 all up, and then centre clearances were 13 apiece, stoppage clearances 19-21. So slight favours to them. But yeah, it's interesting to see. Ethan? So
we'll move on. Well said, Sammy and Mitch. We'll move on to Mills versus Cripps. I think Mills got the win here, but I thought Cripper did his thing here and there, apart from a few mistakes. I thought it was probably one of his worst games of the year. But what are your thoughts on Cripper's game, Carlton?
Oh, go on to me. Alrighty. Yeah, I think the last 2 weeks now he's sort of been a bit. I don't say underdone, but probably by his standards, he wasn't. He did get our first goal, didn't he?
Yeah, on the left.
Yeah, so Yeah, so that sort of sparked us up a little bit, but yeah, I think he was solid enough. But yeah, definitely he wouldn't poll. I wouldn't have thought, and we got other blokes that stood up and did their role, especially Sam Walsh. I think it's almost flipped in the sense that he's started to rack him up again and play blistering footy. Not that he ever wasn't, but he's definitely come of age, and then again, and Cripper's sort of taken not a backward step, but he's sort of just observing almost. But yeah, it's still doing very well.
Pato.
Yeah, I thought Cripps definitely. I mean, he didn't really touch the ball as much, but I think he got second in the tackles, which was I think that was just behind Mills as well. So obviously Mills did win this contest, but Cripper getting 7 tackles. I mean, he got 19 touches, but and a goal, but getting 7 tackles is terrific. I wish you got 17. I think that would have been a record, but it's just really good to see that Cripps is kind of it's not like he's having 15 touches with 1 or 0 tackles. He's actually changing. So because he may have gotten tagged, we didn't really see, but he didn't have the impact. So it's good that he actually transformed that to, well, I can't really dominate in this sense of the game, but he actually dominated in the tackle sense of the game.
I think that's a really good point in terms of tagging as well. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league, So like he's, of course, they're going to tag him. They're going to figure out what they can do to minimize. Is that the word? Minimize his effect on the game. So exactly, minimize his effect on the game. Of course, they're going to do that. He's one of the best players in the league. So I think we expect that. But doing that, we have someone tags him, for example. You got Walsh and Hewitt who share 66 disposals between the two of them. So I think it frees it up, in other parts. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Cripper will be back to his damaging best against the Pies. He usually rises against the Pies, so it'll be good to see this week. Now, the next matchup against probably arguably one of the best forwards ever, against the mighty Jacob Wiedering, All-Australian Wiedering, absolutely locked the bloke up. I don't give a shit that Buddy kicked 2 goals. One of them was a usual Buddy goal from 50, and the other one was a bit of a cheap one. What were your thoughts on the matchup, Pattinson?
Yeah, I think with Franklin, when he gets that goal, I'm like, fuck. But I think with Wiedering, that's 4 or 5. How many is that, boys? I think Wiedering was 100%. I think he 100% won this matchup. Franklin was good once again, but I think he's been pretty good this year, actually, Franklin. He's probably been one of the more underrated forwards in the comp. Well, we all know how good he is, but this season especially he's been good. But yeah, Wiedering, what a player he's been. Like, we kind of weren't too sure about how good he's been playing, but once again, he just locks down these defenders, and he keeps them away from their strengths, which is really good to see from Wiedering.
Yep, Carlton.
Yeah, I think Pato took the words right out of my mouth. He said he put it beautifully. He kicked 2 goals, and I think Wiedering's done a great job.
Yeah, locked him up, and I think, geez, if he's not on the All-Australian team this year, what the fuck's going on?
Let's be real. Who would be the other contender? Generally, right now, probably May.
I reckon May and him can be in the same backline of the All-Australian team.
Yeah.
But yeah, they usually find a way to put Darcy Moore, who is one of the most overrated defenders in the comp. But we'll move on. We'll talk about him in the preview, and on to you, Sammy, for the next segment.
Well said. Well, you mentioned Buddy Franklin there, and just how good of a player he's been for Sydney and I guess Hawthorn as well. But speaking of our forward line, Charlie Curnow, I mean, could he be the next Buddy Franklin or potential star legendary forward? 6 goals, 1. Ethan?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I think his goal tally at Marvel has been fantastic. I think at most stadiums this year. But at Marvel, I think first game was... What was our first game at Marvel? Dogs kicked 5
Dogs, and he
straight.
kicked 5, yeah.
5 straight. North, 3 goals. Adelaide, 6. And then Sydney, 6. That's ridiculous.
Crazy, isn't it?
I think he's the best I've ever seen him. I know he's been fantastic before the injury, but this is clearly better. Like, he's taken that step to just the best forward in the comp. And we've got our fucking Coleman medalist not even playing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's exactly right.
People go, Carlton haven't proved it yet. How have we not proved it? But yeah, Charlie, fantastic. Forwards, Dirds again. Like, that smother he did, that just lifts up the club. the other night. The crowd was going off. I've never seen a crowd go off so much over a smother. And that's just,
He gave him a little clap too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that. That was funny.
Yeah.
Gave himself a little clap. But no, the teammates getting around him, and that just shows the the mindset that's changed over the off season. So, and Fish, Jeezy has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. As you said, Charles 6 goals, Dirds and Fish 2 each, and then 5 individual goal scorers, and fairly accurate as well. Pato, what was your take on the forward line, mate?
Yeah, absolutely terrific. Just once again, because my worry was without Harry, what it would kind of look like with our forward line. And I think Silvani's been really good as well. Like, he's probably gone under the radar a little bit. Obviously, he's changed his role a little bit because he has to be that key forward, but I think he's been actually pretty good. Like, especially in a role that's kind of it's not a role that he's kind of used to. But one thing about that, about the player's mindset is, one thing that I've noticed, very small thing, is that every single time that they kick a goal, even if we're up by 50, like maybe 50 or 55 points, every single play, I mean, not every single play, but you see 5 or 6 players get around them. And that's what I've kind of seen recently, like, especially on the weekend. I think it was maybe always to kick the goal. I saw Lockie O'Brien sprinting from half back to get around him. Like, it's just the mental side of this team that has changed a lot. And it just shows how much that mental game matters in a team sport like AFL.
Yep, 100%. I think, last year there was a few instances where, someone would kick a goal, or Stocker kicked his first goal or something versus Melbourne, I think last year. And about 4 blokes got around him. And now, Curnow kicks his 180th goal of the season and people are getting around him. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very much a sort of, I guess, a play for each other sort of mentality. We're in it as a team, and yeah, so it's really good. So Curnow 6 goals, 1, Durden 2 goals, 1, and just besides that, I think, as you said, the smother, took a little clap. There was also one where I think it was a tackle in forward 50 where he tackled him and the ball spilled out straight to Fisher, I'll say, I think.
Yeah.
And Fisher kicked a brilliant goal. So just, the 1%ers, I guess, or really good moments like that. I think he's been, sensational. And then also, Fisher 2 goals, 1. So pretty accurate kicking, really, as well. Motloff 1 goal, 3. Always 1 goal, 2. And then Cripper, TDK, and Kennedy all getting 1 each. So we're definitely sharing them around well. And then also Charlie's kicking 6. So can't complain with that. We've kicked 100, 4 weeks in a row now. So doing pretty well, especially without Harry.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing. Like as Duff said earlier, like, we're playing without our I didn't want to say another F word there, but we're playing without our common medalists. Like, that's just the main thing that we're getting. Like, we're seeing other guys like Zach Fisher. He's been fantastic the past 3 weeks. Like, I had him I'm like, this guy, he needs to go back into the twos, needs to find his role. He has found his role within a week, and he has been fantastic the past 3 weeks. So many small forwards, it's just a different. Even without those 2 key pillars down there, there's other guys that are joining in, and especially the midfielders as well. It's been really good.
We're playing without the 2021 Collingwood medalist, but we're playing with the 2022 Collingwood medalist. So I guess.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, but I think you have to ask Speech. We have to get Speechley for the exact stat. He does have it, but I think he said it's been about 100 years since the Coleman, since I don't even know if it was that then, obviously, but just the most total goal scorer has been back-to-back same teams, but different players. So like Harry from the Blues and then Charlie now from the same club is, apparently hasn't happened since like 100 years ago. So hopefully we get there, or hopefully he gets there. But more importantly, hopefully we keep getting these wins, boys.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, we'll go down the other end of the ground now. We spoke about Wiedering a little bit. We'll go down and sort of look into the team defence. Every single one of them was able to absorb heaps of inside 50s from the Swans in that second half in particular when they sort of, I guess they put their charge on, especially in that third quarter there, which is a credit to, I guess, Aaron Hamill, who's obviously backline coach at the moment. And how'd you read that, Pato?
Yeah, I thought our defense was absolutely fantastic. Well, once again, and I think it's probably been one of our more underrated probably parts of the game that we've kind of seen this year, is that our defense has probably gone a little bit under the radar in the terms of the AFL competition. Like, I mean, yes, we are scoring over 100 points most weeks, but also we're kind of keeping the opposition's teams quite low. Like, yes, Sydney scored 87 points on the weekend, but yeah, it's hard to look at like an Adelaide and North Melbourne, but we're still keeping them quite low. So I think that's fantastic to see. But what was your thoughts on it, Duff?
No, I thought it was fantastic. I think, well, especially in the last quarter, like the inside 50s with the Swans, they just kept coming back in. And, you know, guys like Lockie Plowman, who I thought has been superb all year, played his best game in navy blue he's ever played. That massive mark in the middle. You know, I was actually watching him all the way. The way he set up before that ball came in, he did all the work before the ball came in, and then he was in that right position. It shows you the work they've been putting in as a collective group. And I think Sardi's just, you know, getting better and better. Just that explosiveness of half back. Newey's been awesome. One of the most underrated, you know, defenders in the comp. Stocker absolutely towed Papley, kicked one goal, and he celebrated like he won the flag. You know, but one quick thing about that, you know, if we had Papley, we would have never got Durden. So
yeah.
Exactly right.
Interesting one.
Yeah, that's a great point, mate. Yeah, do you think with Plowman as well? Like we've always, you know, liked Plowman. You know, we haven't, especially speechly, we'd never hate any player, I guess. But like, there's obviously some very strong opinions out there against Plowman. But do you think, I guess, Jones going out wasn't easy, but then Young and, as you said, Newman, sort of like a stock to an extent, but also just. Do you reckon he just plays a bit, I don't know, maybe a bit freer? Sort of, he's definitely playing with confidence, which I think is a big thing. Like when he went out through the corridor and then got his neck, you know, absolutely ripped off, which was holding the ball apparently. Yeah, he looks confident. Like where he's streaming through the corridor, whatever he's doing, he just looks confident. Do you think he just looks like he's playing a bit freer with sort of no pressure, I guess, because he's not really locking down any forwards as much as probably what he used to, because I mean he would have been looked as a main defender, you know, potentially in the past, but I think he's just freed up a bit more now. How do you read that, Heath?
Yeah, well, like you said, he took the game on. I think we're only 2 goals up, or you know, just under 3 goals up, and he's taking the kick. He's getting a handball receive and going through the middle of the ground, which he, you know, I think he was a split second from kicking that ball. So I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what is going on? I'm not saying he's crap. That's just not the way he usually plays.
Exactly right.
Got more players taking the game on. You know, when we get to, you know, finals time, hopefully when we're in it, you know, big moments with 2 minutes to go, you can count on a Plowman to take the game on and go forward and get the winning goal up forward. Like, you know, someone to, you know, kick it forward, get it to Charlie instead of, you know, Sard might be on the bench or Sard might be struggling. You can get someone else to step up. I liked what he did, and I'm sure a few people might sulk about him getting done holding the ball, but I love the way he went about it.
Absolutely, mate. You did predict for Jack last week that he would get the first goal, ironically. Maybe that's what he was thinking there. Maybe he watched the episode. It wasn't the first goal, but maybe his eyes lit up and he thought, I'll slot this from 50. I'll get there and slot this from 50. Who knows? Pato, how'd you read his game, mate?
Plowman for a goal would have been paying about $150 on a sports bet, but we'll move on from that. Yeah, I thought Plowman, like you guys have said it perfectly, he's just a lot more freer, a lot more. Like, I feel like probably playing as that second or third tall has probably helped him a little bit, just because now it seems like he's probably playing with his strengths. But yeah, taking the game on, like I was cheering it. I was like, go again, Plowman, go again, mate. No, like it's really good that he's started. So many of these players are purely playing on confidence, and it just shows that when this team wins, who knows, we could be a very scary team in the future.
Well said, mate. All right, we've spoken about plenty of players here, so we might just go over the same stuff. But we'll go to our best on ground. Ethan, who was best on for you, mate?
There was many best ons for mine, but one in particular, just due to the impact he had on the game, especially talking about team defence. He's one critical part of it, and that's Jacob Wiedering. I thought he was enormous on Buddy Franklin, and really, you know, minimised his impact on the game. And you know, I know Buddy's not always, he's not really rated as, you know, the greatest pack mark, or, you know, he's not really a marker. That's not really what his thing is. But, you know, Weeder's just killed him. And how strong is he, man? Yeah. Like, the guy is standing still with 5 minutes to go in the pack, and he takes a mark. Everyone else goes up and he reads it. He reads it perfectly. And what I love about Weeders now is he doesn't fucking take shit. Like that, you know, when Doc got, you know, dog hit by, you know, Kennedy, and I think it was James Bell or whatever that hack his name is.
Yeah.
Trying to get into Weeders, and Weeders is the size of the fucking house, mate. He's huge. You just piss off, Belly, mate. This is my ground.
Yep.
It's good. And how old is he? 24. He's going to be a premiership player, no doubt about it.
Absolutely, mate. Oh, I couldn't agree more. Paddock, who'd you have?
Yeah, after that, I kind of want to change my best on ground because Dav said it absolutely perfectly. But I had George Hewitt. I'm probably going a little bit off my last week best on ground to try and make it look like that I got something right. But I had George Hewitt, of course, 32 touches. But I'm going to say one more swear word here. 7 fucking tackles. Like Hewitt, mate. But the only thing there was 59% efficiency, but I just think that was just because of his injury. But 17 contested possessions as well. Was really good to see. And George Hewitt was my best on ground.
Awesome, mate. Yeah, I had Charlie. I mean, just the sheer 6 goals and the accuracy of 6 goals won is great to see. I think he's going to be a champion if he's not already. I think one thing I will just add is, we're playing tough footy. We look like we're very we don't take no shit. I think Stocker adds a lot of that as well. Kennedy's a bit of he's a bit of a bull. Even his some of his marks, like contested marking, is pretty impressive. A lot of their contested mark, I haven't got the stats right here, but their contested marking and just contested possessions as a whole has been very good, which is not something we're really used to. I mean, besides we had like Levi, who was a good mark, obviously, but actually, Ethan's smiling there. But I think we're a very tough club at the moment, and it's great to see. But I think that's about it from us, boys. Anything else to add?
I was just laughing at the name Levi.
No, we wish him well. Hope he's going well.
Massive game this week. Absolutely massive game this week.
Yeah, which we'll get to in the preview. Obviously playing the Pies, the scum they are. So we'll get that out in the next couple of days. And if you're not already, follow, do it all. And as always, Paddock.
And as always, boys, up the Baggers.